Today I am going to show you how to measure angles with a protractor. Now I already have an angle drawn up here, and we can tell by looking at it that it should be a 90-degree angle. This is the protractor that I'm using today. And we want to look at the middle of the protractor, which is right here in the middle of this arc, in between the zeros at the bottom. And we want to line the middle of our protractor up directly on the vertex of our angle. And we make sure the bottom line of the protractor runs along with the ray, and this line going up here lines up with our ray at the top, and we can see that this is indeed a 90-degree angle. Now this also works for different degree angles. If you have one that, like an acute angle, which would open on this side, you know that an acute is less than 90 degrees. So you're going to use the numbers along the bottom, which are smaller than 90, to determine the degree of your angle. And also the same, if the angle opens up this way, you know that this is larger than 90 degrees, so you would use the bottoms here at the numbers, which are larger, to determine the degree of your angle. Now let's look at how to measure an acute angle that has a measurement that is a multiple of 5. Since it is acute, we know that the angle will measure greater than, since it is acute, we know that the measurement will measure greater than 0 and less than 90. We want the measurement to be a multiple of 5. So we need to think of a multiple between 5 or between 0 and 90. So let's use the multiple 30. And I'm going to use a marker so that this will show up on my paper. We want a 30-degree acute angle. So we find the middle of our protractor, which is right here in the middle of this arc. We make a little dot, and we make a straight line with our protractor, our ray, and then we want it to be 30 degrees. So we come out here and find 30, make a little mark, and then we use our protractor to draw a straight line through that mark, which we know is 30. And now let's check our work. We put the protractor on the vertex of our angle, make sure the bottom line is even with our ray on the bottom, and we follow the line on our protractor, and it runs directly through 30, giving us an acute angle with 30-degree measurement. So now let's look at how to measure an obtuse angle that has an even angle measurement. We know that an obtuse angle is between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. So we need to pick an even number between 90 and 180. Let's use the number 120. Again, I'm going to use my marker so it'll show up on my paper. Start at the middle of our protractor and draw a straight line for our bottom ray. Now let's put our protractor on that end point of our ray and look for 120. And we know this is larger than 90 degrees, so it's going to be this way for the obtuse angle. It's right here. Make a little dot. And we know that we will be drawing our line through that dot. Now we want to check our work. So line our protractor up on the vertex. Make sure the bottom line is even with our bottom ray. And we follow the protractor line, and it is 120. So we have an obtuse angle that measures 120 degrees. And the last one I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an acute angle with a prime degree measure. Again, we know that an acute angle will be between 90 and 0 on our protractor. So let's use the prime number 5. And I'm going to do this one with a pencil since 5 is so close to 0. We find the middle of our protractor and we draw our bottom ray. And then we put our protractor on that right there, the beginning of the ray, line it up, and we find 5. A 5 is not labeled on our protractor, but we know that it is between 0 and 10. So here's the halfway mark between 0 and 10. Make a little line there, and our angle is barely going to open up. Let's see. Okay, now we want to check our work. So we put this on the vertex, line it up with our bottom ray, follow it out, and it is directly between the 0 and the 10. I'm going to fill that in with marker so that you can see it a little better. We have an acute angle with a 5 degree.